as I mentioned, the last quarterback, a non-quarterback to win MVP, Adrian Peterson in 2012. And then you had 2006, LaDainian Tomlinson before that. You should not wager your money on non-quarterbacks, in my opinion. It is like, we can say Justin Jefferson. Yeah, it's possible. Like a long shot. Christian McCaffrey. Think about it. Christian McCaffrey, 11-1 to win Offensive Player of the Year and like 90-1 to win MVP. That's because that's just how these guys vote. Now, in a weird year where no quarterback distinguishes himself, it is possible for something to happen. I think it is still unlikely. As I pointed out on Dave Damashek's Extra Points pod on the Omaha Network, that Peyton Manning, when he didn't win in 2012, probably gave an earful to a lot of voters. And since then, we've seen only quarterbacks. So my quarterback choice inside of 20-1 or inside of 25-1, Trevor Lawrence. Now, Trevor Lawrence, not as good as Patrick Mahomes, not as good as Joe Burrow, not as good as Josh Allen so far in their NFL careers, not as good as Jalen Hurts. Now, I would take Trevor Lawrence over Jalen Hurts. I would take Trevor Lawrence over Justin Herbert. Lamar Jackson already won an MVP, right? Aaron Rodgers won several. The reason Justin Fields at 20-1 is a joke, just because the Bears aren't very good. Trevor Lawrence at 15-1. Here's the reason why.
Okay.
If you look at the quarterbacks in this top tier, Mahomes and Justin Herbert in the same division, Josh Allen and Tua Tagovailoa in the same division, Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen in the same division, like Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow in the same division. Every single one. There's 6 quarterbacks from the AFC in the same division. Trevor Lawrence, the only one by himself. The Jaguars have an easy schedule. The Jaguars have a good look at the number 1 overall seed. You have to win your division and likely get the number 1 seed to win the MVP. Their defense might not be great this year. I think Trevor Lawrence can absolutely put up the numbers in a second year in Doug Peterson's system to win MVP. I wish this was like 25-1, which is what it should be. These markets are not great, but such is life. Middle of the road guys, I think you kind of have to rule out Deshaun Watson. I just don't think the voters will give him the award this close to that off-field stuff. Geno Smith at 40-1, too short. Jared Goff, kind of interesting. I think that I ultimately went with Russell Wilson, which I know seems insane. But if Russ plays really well and Sean Payton coaches him up and that team is good and they steal the division from the Chiefs, at 45-1, you were getting some serious value with a guy who has had a Hall of Fame career for the most part. And then for my long shot, of course, I went with Matthew Stafford. Unlikely to win. 6.5 win total for the Rams. But this is a guy who has put up MVP numbers before. He did it 2 years ago, like in terms of 40 touchdowns, 4,500 passing yards, whatever it was. Maybe San Francisco's quarterback situation is a disaster. Maybe they deal with injuries. The Rams pop back up. They got Sean McVay still, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp. Maybe they steal a division, and then all of a sudden Stafford's in that mix.
Emory.
I would probably lean. I'm going to go Lamar Jackson as the favorite because it's funny when you watch Lamar, and I've said this ad nauseum. Whenever he's out there, they end up being 8-2. The number 1 seed in the AFC, and he's leading the MVP votes. And then the last 2 years, he's gotten hurt, and then things go to what. But it's strange that he's always out there at the number 1 seed, leading the MVP votes with Mo, Larry, and Curley at wide receiver. And so now he has great weapons, a newfound passing attack where they're going to actually spread the field and pepper guys with targets. So I like him as a favorite. My mid-range is Aaron Rodgers strictly because, media will talk about Rodgers ad nauseum, and don't let the Jets have a winning season. Like Rodgers will get it,
They are. They are, Emory.
This should be minus whatever, just like DeMar Hamlin winning comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Should already be minus whatever for Aaron Rodgers. So that's my mid-range. My long range for a lot of what Will talked about, but I also believe this player is still fantastic, a top 8 quarterback in this league, Deshaun Watson. And I expect the Browns to be good. I expect the Browns to be in the playoffs. I expect them to finish second in that division. So Watson, to me, would be the long shot that I would, lay some money on. But Lamar, then Aaron Rodgers, and then Deshaun Watson for the long shot.
I like those. I think when you look at the favorite, I'm not afraid to go chalk here with Mahomes at plus 600, even to go back to back. I don't think we've seen the ceiling for Mahomes. And as long as the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and you still have Reed as the coach, and you still have the best tight end in the league and Travis Kelce and the best quarterback in the league, I don't think it's impossible that he goes back to back there. Middle range, I'm agreeing with Emory here and taking Aaron Rodgers. Neither of you are that high on the Jets, but I certainly am. I like them over their win total. I have been watching them on Hard Knocks. Maybe I'm drinking a little bit of the Kool-Aid here, but we just seems like we have a different Aaron Rodgers. You know, he has won this award several times. He has some weapons there. I think that Garrett Wilson is special, and we're going to see a lot of crazy things from the two of them this year. So I like him. I took my odds earlier from Caesars at plus 1,500. I'm not sure what it is on the DraftKings graphic. And then for the long shot, no one's going to have as long of shots as Brinson does here, because that is his specialty here are these long shots. But I actually kind of like Justin Fields at plus 2,500, or I don't know what it is here.
He's 20 to 1 now.
20 to 1 now. Yes, on this screen. And look, I'm higher on the Bears than most people are. I do think that, Justin Fields is going to have a breakout year, specifically in the passing game. We know what this guy can do with his legs. You got him some pass catchers with DJ Moore. We've already seen some cool stuff come out of training camp from them. I like Eberflus also as coach of the year. So if the Bears win their division and we see Justin Fields take a huge step up, coming from being the worst team in the NFL last year, I do think that is a pretty good bet.
The problem for me with Fields is that it's like they were the worst team in football and they have to win 12 games to win the MVP, I think. But I understand why he has been a popular bet, because the Bears, you get DJ Moore, you see, we see these preseason games and they improve the offensive line. There's all these different reasons. I think it's almost maybe more likely that I would want to get involved in Justin Fields for Offensive Player of the Year.